Thank you so much, James, and thank you, gentlemen on the desk. I'm excited for this one, Launders. The playoffs have begun, all right? We had the group stage, we had some wonky up and downs, but this is where the real matches start. This is where the real pressure sinks in, and this is where the real challenges begin for a team like Spirit. Like we talked about, you know, not the hardest of routes to get here into the playoffs, but they did their job correctly, and they did it well. That's what is most important. Now, however, they have their hands full in terms of individual talent because AVANGAR have it from head to toe.
They definitely do, that's for sure. James, leading the charge, has just taken a hold of so much of the conversation about any of the players in the CIS region.
Right.
And that's because he just has such a different play style. You know, he's plays slow at times, sometimes he's ultra aggressive, he's always offing. He really picks when he goes for clutches and when he doesn't, and it's hard to predict, even from someone who gets to watch him the whole game, what he's going to do next. And that unique decision making, I think, is what helps him be hard to kill. It might be a big feature of his gameplay. But he, as James mentioned on the desk, has had variable impact throughout the event. And it's crazy because even in games where he doesn't have an amazing amount of kills, he gets amazing kills within that. And that's something that we can always count on. So he'll be a big player in this match if they win it. And if they don't, you can definitely point to him as the operator to put a lot of the responsibility. So now we've got Spirit walking up through the stairs, clearing things out. Really good with the Glocks to try to create a train and just clear stuff out, clear all the close angles that you can. It's very easy to convince players to fall back on the A site. And now they turn their attention to B.
Yeah, Buster's going to float around the pillar. He's got support off barrels as well. And it's a quick kill from Crizzen to get this party started. Dima responding from short as that bomb does push up into the A site, but you can see AVANGAR trying to work their way back upwards. Davkos with a double, and James, well, he stopped the bomb and pushes it back down to this man. 2 kills already, but he needs another couple. Grabs the bomb, puts down that suppressive fire off the Glock, and he's yet to prioritize plant. Seems to want to get a 1v1, but there's just corpses in his way. Oof. Blocks the vision, and Buster will blast him back.
Yeah, could have been a free plant there, but he wasn't sure where the second player was. And if he didn't overcommit to the peek into CT spawn, he would have known that there could have been 2 players there after seeing a couple bullets, but it was too hard for him to fall out. Would have loved for him to get the kill, obviously, then go back to dice box, play the 1v1, and then it's a much more standard, much more easy round. But they don't get the plan off that, and that's a big loss for Team Spirit here. So we're not going to have any reinvestment. There's Glocks and only one piece of utility. At least Dima's got a flash for the team, can make a world of difference for sure, but it'll be difficult to score themselves a plant. AVANGARs have taken stairs control. They've got forward A aggression as well. James has a nade prepped and ready to go. If he doesn't release that too early, it might do some good damage.
Spirit paused for a moment there just outside of spawn, anticipating some kind of deep frag nade, but it's only at this moment that it is thrown out. James hitting Dima and soft-picked ever so slightly. It's really not all too substantial, but what will be is this flank from Kicker. James drawing all the attention, calling for the reinforcements, and Kicker, well, he's got a teammate with him here, so the 2 of them should be able to corral the remaining members of Team Spirit. The smoke makes things slightly more awkward, but it's all good. James, 2 kills, $5,600 at the end of this one. That's an easy rebuy with his 4-1 start. And AVANGAR happy to convert off pistol. Yeah,
the kills allow him to get the half armor with the op, so he can move right into that. His teammates bought up SMGs. There was basically MP9s only that round, so there's a lot of money to be made, and AVANGAR will turn this into some kind of bonus. James doesn't want to be too aggressive to the point where he could risk losing the op early, because this is a round that could be lost pretty easily. Spirit have pretty good weaponry, artillery, and it's going to be on AVANGAR to make sure they're careful enough they don't throw this one away. So Team Spirit off to a pretty standard default passive setup from them, out towards the playground area, and Cold here. It's working on the stairs. So Dayoung just playing back, holding for pushes. AVANGAR have poked around at the A site, but now have started to walk back to the sites. This can be okay, considering it'll be a difficult round for Spirit to win, no ops, for them to move up to the A site. And so long control can be good. They can throw the aggressive smoke to the end of it, then take control of it. And with a minute up, they've cleared out bathrooms, and so they have enough time to walk the entire way, make it difficult for AVANGAR to guess whether or not they need to stack, or it's okay to play 3B.
Kickered smoke comes down at a decent time. Sections Dima off. Kickert's going to try to win that duel, but it does ultimately cost him his head. Dima looking to follow suit, and the CT is already rotating upwards. They've erected a smoke for their own accord. Got that potential bomb plant for the bathroom side. Dima charges through this, though. He attempts to challenge Fitch, and it is a trade frag back and forth. Good job by Davkos there to pinch in from long as bomb goes down. So Spirit, with their first plant and the fact that they killed the man on B, makes things really tricky for the remaining AVANGAR players. Yeah. Buster, he's got 100 health. He is that front line. But look at Coldy, just tucked away behind the flower pots. It's going to take one hell of a play from AVANGAR to make this happen. And the problem is the threat's so near. It's not really like they can leave. They are going to throw themselves into the smoke, and there's a man within it. Not to mention Coldy is the insurance policy. They're trying to bait the players here into the open, and, well, sure enough, there's one. But, haha, Sodvik emerges, and with an element of surprise, it's just James to survive. That's Spirit on the board.
Yeah, and here's that bit of a strange situation. That's luckily a situation where James can play passively enough that he can save the op, because, again, they didn't have as good guns as they'd like to have. Now, I don't know if they can rebuy fully on everybody, but we'll certainly see more rifles, hopefully more M4s for AVANGAR. But here's a good attempt from AVANGAR to try to deal with the A aggression. Spirit threw a couple of good smokes, kept it nice and simple, moved at a consistently fast pace, and then got to the A site with plenty of time to spare. So it's no surprise to me that they were able to pull it out. Can't blame Kickert for trying to go for that kill. Would have been much harder for him to sit at the truck and then go for a long-range spray, and so he saw an opportunity with one player there and a smoke behind him that he threw to try to isolate him so he could eliminate him. Now, in this round, another setup in the default. But again, much more focus on the rifles here for AVANGAR. They even got an AUG on Kickert. It's always terrifying to hear the AUG on the server. Can really be a game changer. Buster poking around short, kind of by himself, so it's not quite as safe to actually get into the sewer tunnel. But he still has a decent amount of information. If that door swings open, he can alert his teammates.
Seems as though AVANGAR are prying for that map control. 2 players now on B short, 2 players pushed up towards bathrooms. So, kind of letting Spirit feel comfortable for the moment, but then attempting to get them within close proximity. James, op scoped in on bathrooms. It's an easy shot versus SDY, but there's still 3 players from Spirit coming down long, and because of the smoke at the end of this, it's not been spotted. AVANGAR very much fixating towards the bathrooms, but Fitch instantaneous in his 2K. Molotov blocks it off for a moment. Davkos attempts to pick up pieces here. 30 seconds for him to do so, and he's not alone. Coldy's coming to join him from mid. Smoke's fading all across the A site, and there's a lot of presence here for AVANGAR. Can Spirit fight their way out? Seems not. 1 round is all they'll find in consecutive order. It is AVANGAR back in control of things.
Yeah, they steal it right back. So in terms of money, we've got 1 player who has 4K. The rest of them need to save at this moment. Good round from James. They had everything in place in terms of the amount of riflers they needed on the site to hold. They hit their shots, and there were some good late round trades from Spirit, but ultimately it was much better how AVANGAR dealt with a long control than anything else. Holding on to their Molotovs for that long was big. They even had a smoke to refresh, and that made it easy for them to pull off the site hold. So Spirit are going to be moving into an eco round. Sumdai Young's the only man who has a pretty decent pistol. Though, no, actually, Dima, Dav, and Coldy have upgraded. But once again, a singular flash here. We're going to go ahead and spot things. And AVANGAR haven't done that really forward aggressive A aggression where they jump up to fountain, they pick balloons. Instead, they've been hanging around the bathrooms, have been easy to convince to fall back. And once they've fallen back, it's been about on the A site. But on this anti-eco, not surprised to see them playing far back. I do think that Spirit, once they get close, becomes pretty 50-50, whether or not they can execute and kill people behind the dice box and truck. But at the moment, it'll just be time burned off the clock, which AVANGAR will be happy to see.
Just because we didn't have time to touch on it in the pre-show for this matchup, the 3 maps of the series are Overpass, Dust 2, and then Mirage. This one here starting off, of course, on the choice of Team Spirit. So AVANGAR's decision to start on the CT side has begun with a little bit of momentum and some economic woes for Spirit. They've got that 1 single flashbang left now that they do have closer proximity in bathrooms, but the problem for them is that Sotvik's been spotted and Kickert's going to call he sees bomb. Sure, their bodies may stack up, but he's got the trigger discipline. Peeks wide, 3 instant kills here for AVANGAR. That's a great way to shut down anything Spirit could have thrown. You know, the odds were always stacked against them, but maybe they find an opening, maybe they find some damage even. Not this time around.
Yeah, there's some value in holding bathrooms where you have a fast flank on bathrooms itself. If you hold top bathrooms, you can control long, you get info early, tons of reasons that you want to push up, and they found a tricky way to do it safely. So now AVANGAR pulled that one out. They have minimal losses to think about, and Spirit going to be scratching their heads a little bit as to what they should try next. They haven't done a lot of testing in terms of rushing, in terms of monster hits, in terms of taking short control, combining that with stairs control, and I feel like they should at some point give that a shot. This is a great round to do it. They've got lots of utility to work with. Davkost, fortunately, only has a scout, so a bit of a downgrade for him. Wouldn't be surprised if James finds a duel and wins it versus their scope, but he's kind of the only person at A, and I think this was a spawn-based call where he can go and spot, and if he spots early enough, he knows they haven't crossed. And even if they do cross, as long as they aren't rushing him, he doesn't have to tell his teammates to move quite yet. Instead, you can see the amount of vision he has will be able to allow his teammates to just freely roam around the B site, take their time. And I don't actually like how timid AVANGAR are being about their setups right now, but they're working so far.
And knowing AVANGAR, they're not going to shy away from being less timid. I just feel like since it is working at the moment, it's a fantastic way to establish a good amount of economy control, kind of figure out what Spirit's got to throw. Because like you said, we haven't seen much from Spirit either. You know, AVANGAR, they wouldn't be making these aggressive decisions based on a very large sample size. But Some Die Young, who has been consistent over towards this B site, does lurk into Crizzen, however, doesn't expect the second man, that's Buster, to trade into the short control. So AVANGAR will rotate all of the remaining members up, other than Buster, who serves as that anchor towards B. It's going to be the 32nd hit to the A site yet again. We've seen Spirit come into this position late. James off of the boost. Now that's going to open up a window of opportunity. They cross past Fitch, not able to hold Dima back, but luckily Coldy can still trade, and that enables a bomb plant. Molotov really ensures that nobody can rush out unless they have the balls to do so through smoke. And a stray shot off James misses the mark as well. Bombs planted. Team Spirit, in a decent enough position, have been given a chance to fall back.
Are they going to take it? 3v2. Dav is looking for bake flanks here. They are moving far away from the site at the moment. Bomb's not halfway ticked quite yet, and that is not an op holding that down. So smoke could be pretty powerful. Section off the choke points. Now force some awkward peaks.
They've got both bathrooms blocked and the bomb itself. Now they just need to throw their bodies in front. You know, the meat shield should be the tactic here. I love that James goes to the high road over the boxes, gets that op shot versus Coldy. You know, it gives himself the most upwards of positions, seeing as he was low HP as well. It's a bit of a risk to run, but it pays off. He's 8-1.
I think the amount of time they were taking there, they were kind of worried why AVANGAR were taking so long, and they immediately looked for some big flank as if someone might be blocking long or coming from top bathrooms, flanking from stairs. And when they didn't see anybody, then they were finally back in their standard spots, but the smokes were out and they were put in good spots. To smoke the diffuse is really easy. It's actually important that if you hear a smoke plume, that you know where it plumes so you can remember how to line up, because if enough points of reference have been blocked off by the smoke, then you'll be spraying into the smoke thinking that's exactly where the bomb was planted, but you could be completely wrong. So it's really helpful. So a good tip is actually to try to, because of that points of reference note, it's really important to look for high buildings behind what is smoked, so you can try to visualize the rest of the site.
And speaking of, you know, cutting off those points of reference, it's nice to see that AVANGAR, they pick up a second smoke as they go for the retake. So not only is bomb blocked off, but then they clear bathrooms as well with the additional one. So you could see that you know, valiant spray attempt from Team Spirit. Well, he didn't have anything to look at other than 2 smoke grenades. Really missed the mark, barely damaged him, but that's all he could really try to do at that point. Solid retake helps out AVANGAR to establish their first 5 rounds and pushes Spirit back down into pistols. Not where you want to be early on the T side, especially not here where you find yourself 2 members short already. Luckily, Davkost still has that AK. He was the raid boss of the round, the only man equipped with a gun. And we know why. He's been having himself quite the minor.
He has been hitting shots, hasn't he?
Yeah, most certainly. You know, Davkost on my radar ever since he had that stint with Flipside. But, I'm sorry.
That's usually not how that boost goes.
No, not quite.
Usually a free kill on headshot, but Fitch just jumps up on the barrels, takes the fight himself. 4-2, and Coldy finally finds an opening.
See, luckily Coldy's really good as well. You know, the AK falls into his lap and he still blasts one back off the B site. Then swaps it over to Sumdai Young. Playing a little game of hot potato with the Kalashnikov. Coldy's going to come in from short. That's 2 entries from 2 separate players, and Sumdai Young does one better. Unfortunately for him, though, it's cost a lot of HP. 15 health and almost only 15 seconds, too. Kicker, patient. He's got eyes up and above thanks to Jame. SDY would have to have a hell of an entry and another. But he'll just desperately try to plant. He actually has the cover from the pillar.
Oh,
Kicker,
damn.
he knows what's up. 7 seconds left in the round. Good, slow attempt there from Spirit. Considering that they were immediately pushed into a 3v5, I still think they made something of that round.
Yes, I mean, Sumdai Young getting those 2 kills was amazing. And he played that 1v2 very smartly. I think he just kept an inventory of where the players were the whole time, was extremely careful of James' off angle that he had on Heaven, thought he would definitely get caught off guard crossing into the site. But the smoke was pretty good. Didn't have to expose himself to throw it. Almost got a bomb plan off, but AVANGAR dealt with the 2v1 really well. And one thing that AVANGAR have done that's been amazing this tournament is play their 2vx's to perfection. You know, win rounds they should never have any business winning. And that's been important. So we got a fast monster rush now.
Straight up charge into the bomb site. No entries and no hold even. Just lots of smoke and now lots of shots to fire off. Coldy with an answer. Dima finding one of his own and Kicker flying through the flames. He actually burns himself near half to a crisp. Fitch takes his place, walks up by the barrels, has the element of surprise and support from Jame. Now, bomb's been thrown out into the open, and Sothic looks to clutch. It is the 1v1 with so much time left over.
This is where it gets really exciting. The problem is the bomb down on the site, and Jame has full vision over it. Sothic also know that Jame last had it off. Now he has just dropped that for an AK. Sothic gonna make a rotate. It's gonna come down to timing a little bit. He somehow wins the pure duel, straight up to headshot, takes Jame out of the round, and they win a round that started out 2v3 about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, Jame with the 50-point health advantage. And it's not even though that was a one-tap coming off of Sothic either. You know, it's a spray duel that Jame never even managed to land a shot.
Now you look at that and you think, okay, well, he could have just opped him, right? He could have just held on to the op. But in a 1v1, it's almost never a better idea to have an op. There are certain situations where it warrants it, but you have way more mobility, way more options. Your life and death doesn't depend on one shot. So in that particular moment, when he went to clear long, yeah, Sothic went and pushed up, but that was more a good play from Sothic and some fortunate timing as well as what it comes down to. That being said, they steal a very important round back, and it looks like the economic damage they've dealt in the previous has now finally resulted in their ability to push AVANGAR onto a safe. However, Jame does have an op.
Yep. Gone ahead and got it. Lots of extra cash. There was lots of early damage off of the grenades as well versus Spirit. So that was the money invested from the other side. Kicker taking the op from James' dead body, and Fitch actually finds a bit of an opening here. Unfortunately, Kicker's so far gone after the plant, and the rest of the hold fell so short. You know, Fitch's best efforts still don't seem like they'll be even close to enough.
This will be a good save just because, yeah, Kicker doesn't know he gets the kill, so maybe he hangs out if they do, but I think this will be a better save anyway because they're going to save, be able to buy rifles, but not be able to rebuy the op potentially. So Spirit will take this happily. They got 3 players alive, they get the bomb down, lots of money for them, and another pretty solid round. It got a little sketchy towards the end, but when all the dust is settled, it's Spirit with 3. Not too bad of a break for them. Now, I don't know how much money AVANGAR are going to have following this. 4K on a couple. Yeah, we've definitely got a buy round now. So Jame will drop one. Op will go over to him. Fitch can even help out Buster, and they've got 5 buys. The CZ can be quite unreliable at that distance and spraying in general, and it's a shame. It is a shame.
One conserved round there from AVANGAR. Again, we talked about that op being bought up by Jame, but the fact that it's saved puts him in a fantastic position. And he'll take an aggressive position alone over towards Party. Falling back near immediately because of the flashbangs. Doesn't like that presence. Makes him a little uncomfortable. So he'll reposition back here towards long. Has the drop-off spot. Trying to play counter flash. And I like that he's not gambling himself here, right? This is AVANGAR realizing that with one round loss, they had to take that half save.
They've still got a demon to deal with over at A. They haven't actually, I think, won around that easily, pushing onto the site like this, especially with long control. So here they're going for it one more time. They're tethering off of their number 7 player, Sophic, who will hold the stairs flank, make sure that no one can come up bathrooms to kill them at long. And from here, they can do a full execute. So we see the nades cascading over the site. Pitch prepping his nades. Kicker might get pushed too early, but James there for the defense.
Yeah. Good job by James there, swooping up Dima. They've even pushed off of the bomb site. Instead of all standing behind that wall of smokes, they take the forward positioning inside of washrooms, and oh boy, does it pay out. Already just down to SDY and Coldy, but they are looking to respond now. You can see even the B players coming to join the fun. Kickert replacing the man in the washrooms and forcing Coldy away.
Now this is always the risk you run. Like, some people like to characterize Counter-Strike as like the better execute will always win, you know, and it's funny because sometimes it's like it's only going to count against you, especially if a team has really good counter grenades. And like we saw there, this is the second round in a row that AVANGAR have had no trouble dealing with a long push. The 4-1 fails once again. Colby even will go down after the round, so that's a big find. Not only does the op go down, but he doesn't get any more money into this one. Luckily, he had 2,800 saved. Could be a worse spot for him. But yeah, here's that trouble. Once again, AVANGAR saved the Molotov late enough. So one thing that a team can do if you feel like the other team is holding too many grenades against you is you can try to throw a false exec, or you can even throw, you know, one smoke, one flash, make it look like a cheap fake, and then you can bait out some of the more expensive utility in return. Like if there's only one Molotov on the site, you're able to bait that out for the cost of one smoke and one flash. Well, when you throw your second tier to execute with 3 smokes, 3 flashes, and everything like that, and you need to execute, you need to run through fire, well, they won't have one. And that could be that's a really good thing for AVANGAR. We don't know, we can't see exactly how well or how much effort Spirit put into trying to bait out the utility in response. But we know that AVANGAR have been pretty smart about how they've been dispersing there. So Spirit back on the eco one more time. There's only so many eco strats that you can come up with in a half.
Yeah, especially when this one does not include any utility at all. So they're just going to rush up the connector. Could put Jame in a bit of a situation had he not fallen off already. He goes for that aggressive stance, as does Kicker. But it's the M4 to find the opening kill. Almost collateraling 2. Jame goes 1 and done. Kicker smokes off SDY and kills him in the process. Davkos tries to trade, but what are you going to do with a pistol at that range? 5-7 swap. Gets the last one, and James op retrieved. Good anti-eco 4K here from Kicker.
Yeah, got that Amazon Prime op delivery right to his door.
Yeah, real quick.
Same day. The drone delivery. Yeah. We can do BR jokes, right?
That's true,
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that we're Battle Royale now.
Feels good, man.
Double op setup.
Always a good adjustment, and then they have the AUG as well, which is it's kind of oppy. It's a little bit of an op at times. Loving that AVANGAR are doing this 4-1 with if you have a good A spawn who has the op, to have him just go out and peek A and then have play 4B for a second. He's got the boost on short, but it's a monster rush to come out. Krizen gonna have pressure applied to him now.
Yeah, and he balls Dima with a swift entry. Kicker's just playing inside of the dirt. Gonna come up from the ramp as Buster gives cover off of the op, spots him with the AUG, but can't win his duel. Davkos, on a smidgen of health, is going to establish this man advantage, and now it's those 2 snipers we alluded to that remain. That's all AVANGAR have up, and they're nearly side by side. Smoke covers the plant, sure enough. Wallbang does not align for Buster.
Oof, they are actually going to save off of this. They've only got 2 ops. They actually have great retake utility with the smoke, Molotov, and flash. But because they have the 2 ops, it's just too risky. Like, they could drop it for an AK, but now they're thinking about, well, we want to have 2 ops for the next round. Even if we lose 1 player here, that's too big of a win. They've got a sizable lead. They'll have 2 times the rounds even after this.
To me, the difference-making frag in that round is the kicker attempt to drop bomb.
It's where the round's over.
He drops that bomb. You've got these two short players for Team Spirit that then have to come back into the bomb site, and a double op setup either between Heaven and Graffiti, or like we saw, both of the remaining snipers on Graffiti. Like, good luck getting across without using all the smokes, the very same smokes that enabled the bomb plant at the end of the day.
It's almost every round that you can point to just one kill that just turns the tides completely, changes the story completely.
Yep.
And it's something that gets forgotten about once the game's over, but there is one for sure. Could have been an easy duel as well. But Team Spirit brute force their way into B, and once they've execute, they don't absolutely get melted. They've done a great job of trading. That's why we've seen AVANGAR get pushed right into a save after winning 3-4 rounds in a row. And so that is a scary thought, as Team Spirit never seem to give up or get flustered in moments where there are tons of nades everywhere. Young spots an opportunity, doesn't know that it's an op, so not surprising that he tried to fire at that, but Buster punishes hard.
Yeah, one bullet downrange for Buster gets the job done. This is going to start pushing Team Spirit back up to the A site. Young has been very consistent in his B lurks, and without him being a part of the equation, look at Krizen go.
Just made a big flank, and he's going to slow his roll. I mean, he still doesn't actually want to leave B completely, because that forces their teammates to think about having to rotate to B if it is going to be a short take, for example. But he can sit here and be a fast flank back to his own side.
And on top of it all, AVANGAR, they're able to eject out long A. They go back for the totem pole boost, pluck another player. James now catching Coldy in mid, makes this a single-pronged assault. Sotvic tapping away through smoke, just trying to get lucky. But unfortunately for him, he's also getting flanked. Here comes Krizen, all the way from B, all the way through the spawn of the T's. And he could very well find Sotvic in the corner with his back turn.
And Fitch gets the kill.
And then slaps Krizen in the face, right? With a dink, you know?
Yeah.
It's I'll take your kill and back off.
Yeah. But yeah, the ease of the peace of mind when it comes to pushing Monster, which is one of the most dangerous things you can push on CT side. And oh my god, that flick from Jane, that was ridiculous. And we'll definitely see more of those if we hang out for these next couple of maps for sure. But just being able to find the round that you're able to safely push Monster is enormous on CT side, on Overpass for sure. Like, you can push everything else, but Monster is the one thing that's very dangerous. And if Spirit let off the gas pedal, aren't fully aware at all times, and they leave that open for the wrong round, it'll come to a close, and they won't know why.
This is curious to me. Sotvic alone with the bomb. Clearly in a round like this, you know, like you said, there's only so many things you can do on an eco. This one's going to be a fresh face for Team Spirit, but they still face an uphill battle.
It's a QB sneak.
Kicker immediately with a 2K.
Oh my god, 5 players and they're all rotating. Fitch, is he going to hang out? Noise has been cut, so... Oh, there we go.
Sotvic just has to slip by. It's only going to take a...
His team could have just committed to A there. They pulled as much of a distraction as they possibly could. At this point, like, why wouldn't you be worried about both sides now? Right. It's kind of... His teammates are just kind of wasting time on the other side. We'll end up having to take these duels. And now AVANGAR are wondering why they're still at A. Like,
yeah, if you're going to pull that 4-1 QB sneak, as you called it, you got to make sure you just go all in, you know? And especially when that bomb carrier is only wielding a Glock. Yeah. It's not even any of the guys with a pistol.
A Spark team's probably not going to rotate, but if they see 4 players, there might be miscommunication, and they might have someone turn their back at the right moment. Just allow the plant to go down. Even if a guy gets the CD spawn, he might still technically be in B, but if someone comes out Monster and plants behind the default box, they'll be able to get away with it before they get rushed. So, small mistake probably. Don't know what the value of having the pistols pull off that lurk is. You're almost always going to lose that round anyway. You're probably not going to get a plant in the first place. So you've got to kind of try to join forces and go all in. So now we've got the Monster setup. We're definitely going to see some nades coming over here. Interesting to see how AVANGAR will deal with it. The man throwing a flash. Fitch goes 1 for 1, but will it be enough?
Ooh, Dima grabs another. Now it is that short control in the hands of Buster. That off aggressively pushed up, but he's not challenged straight away, so as he doubles back to the bomb site, he finds himself way too much to handle. And we're going to have James in a 1 versus 4 here to close out a very commandeering CT side. AVANGAR, for the most part, have been successful through and through. Never once did we see Team Spirit win more than 2 rounds in a row. And even that only happened 1 time. Straight smack dab in the center of the half. Bomb also halfway gone at this point. Smoke and a flash. What you got in you, James? He's gonna try to work this one forward. Does have the kit. He's gotta go. But instead, he'll just drop. Davkos through smoke stops him, and we're gonna be back with the second half after a brief break, folks. We'll see you there. A 10-5 half coming out of the boys on AVANGAR. Strong start on the CT side of their opponent's map choice. And I'd say that 10-5 could have been even more one-sided. As you can see, never really stringing momentum together here. Spirit only in round 8 and 9, getting 2 back-to-back. A lot of those one-off B hits, Launders.
Ultimately, Spirit looked pretty disappointing, and I think they were very fortunate to get the 5 rounds, just as you mentioned. Like, they, on some of their executes, it was like, oh, AVANGAR had got the opening kill. They know they're going to execute. They'll probably just finish this off, and then a couple op shots go off, and they miss, and then Team Spirit get on the site, they get the bomb down, and somehow win. So I feel like, you know, things didn't go according to the plan, and they still pulled it off. Now, it's AVANGAR's time to impose their will on the T side here. Pushing into B, smoke on the site, player back in CT spawn, and most certainly the bomb will go down.
Kicker looks to keep this rotation in control, and boy, oh boy, does he ever. Bomb plant, 5v3, jumping 180.
Okay.
Kickert's not going anywhere this morning. He's had his Wheaties, Launders. Sophic doesn't even know what to do. Him and Coldy looking for some kind of a chance in here. They do still have the kit, but Kickert's looking for the pistol ace. He is on a tear.
Oh, here it is.
He's got it.
There it is. Okay. Well done. Hold him downstairs. So his job is obviously to activate his lurk from the stairs. Once the door swings open, it's great because the door has to make noise. So if he can just hide behind the corner and then hope that the CTs don't push him. And even if they do, he has kind of an advantage. So at this point, he can just kind of wait and try to get the drop on one player. Ends up getting the drop on 5. He's working time and a half for no extra pay.
Just the love of the game. You know, that's passion, baby. Team Spirit, that can't feel all too good. Probably feels as though they're staring down the barrel, well, of AK-47s. 3 of them purchased up here for AVANGAR, plus the double MAC-10, and a little bit of patience out of the T side immediately here. Expect James to go on a bit of a free run, probably feeling out the defense, trying to figure out where Spirit have gotten off to. And the answer would be long A.
Be aggressive with the MAC-10s. Put them up front. Like, risk their lives. They're here as pawns to try to move across the board first, and it's more important that they get as much money as possible. Here's the scout strat that some people do on anti-ecos. It's a little bit more risky nowadays just because if you get the 4v5 early on versus pistols, they can still pull out the win even if they don't find the MAC-10. But it sometimes is a smart idea, and here it pays off greatly. So James is actually going to be the player who'll probably see the majority of players, and he's going to hear a bunch of footsteps now.
Oh, this is going to be so good for him to buy an op. Racking up the cash. 2 kills already. I was hoping for a back-to-back ace. Remember, Crizzen, he's gone all the way from T-spawn through B, up into A site, and now back through bathrooms. That's a world tour, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he can mess with them. It's totally fine if he takes some risks. Again, it's just he's trying to build up bank. He could pay for this MAC-10 in just 2 kills, so why not? It's probably Team Spirit's best interest to just avoid even trying to fight him because they don't get much from him dying.
Yep.
So much more is on the line. So Spirit left with 2 at the end of that. AVANGAR win another round, 12-6, and with just a pistol after a daunting half, the score can get very out of hand very quickly. Spirit will have to dig deep here, and definitely recommend that you don't make any bad buying decisions just because you're losing rounds. You've got to put together a lot of rifles to come back into this. Forcing sometimes makes sense, and I'd like to see 4 AUGs. 4 AUGs could be a good adjustment. This might be what they need. I wouldn't be surprised if this is hard to break through. Just a wall of AUGs. Overpass has tons of angles where this is valuable. Even at B, when you're playing back at graffiti and you're spotting for people to creep out monster, having the extra precision of being able to ACOG is useful. It's not ever going to count against you. Here you can see, medium to long range, just peeking out to bathrooms. They go over to long, same deal. James could be very important. Stopping the AUGs. They're playing it slow, though. AVANGAR like to be more meticulous.
Yep. It's the kind of team that, while they can at sometimes just go balls to the walls, will also bleed out their opponent. If they feel as though they're versus a wounded animal, they'll track it for days, Mohan. Enjoy the hunt. They haven't elicited any response in terms of utility from Spirit. There's still 4 smoke grenades across the board for them. And we get that initial volley up and over from the bathrooms. Lots of targets coming Sotvik's way, and he's blinded. Fitch actually spots him, and James instantly takes down the bottom of the totem pole. Davcost cannot even peek out long. He was trying to get into safety, and instead, he's dead.
Okay. Not really sure how that happens, but
that's a jump scare and a half.
At least get the kill. Yeah, so they'll take the AUGs into the next round, but this round's over. The boost in itself is a bit of a risk. If they get the kill, it's kind of easy, but it's hard to fall back from there because if it's going to be like an A split through long as well, then you have to take a fight just to get back behind Dicebox or back in a bank, wait for your teammates, etc. So they ran a bit of a risk there, and also it seemed like they were kind of inexperienced with that boost because when he was up top, he crouched when he was blind, but didn't realize he was still exposed.
Right.
And he had just fired shots off, so he let them know where he was and then kind of hit his head. I feel like that's kind of like when you close the door and try to hide from your dog. Yeah, you like knock on the door.
Right. Or when you close
one by you, they don't see you.
Not quite the cover he'd hoped for. Mind you, Fitch did have a really killer angle from the side of bathroom.
Look at that. Insane game sense from Cold. Have we got a stress ball?
Yeah, I think so.
Or a Furby?
One of the two. Yeah, this is one of those teams that's got all kinds of plushies. Check out the end of the table.
Is that
look like a slowpoke.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that a slowpoke?
No, I think it's a pink moose.
Okay.
Some kind of antlered animal.
Honorary Canadian?
Yeah. See, it's got something on its head. Maybe it's a cow. I don't know.
It's a strange looking animal, I have to say.
Well, maybe those memorabilias are giving them fond thoughts of home, but there's not much fondness for this game so far from Spirit. I mean, we need a little explosiveness. I know it's early, folks. I know they've had a day off, but holy mackerel. AVANGAR just stampeding straight through them. They took all of that action and adrenaline from their close series versus Windstrike. Got sent down into the lower bracket, had to play and fight their way out yesterday, and now they don't want to go back down to the dirty depths. They don't want to hang out with the plebs. AVANGAR is royalty, Londers.
Dav's back on the scout, so immediately downgrades from having the AUG to having a pretty weak scope. Seems to be comfortable doing this on rifle rounds. I've only seen 2 rounds where he's had to do it, but it's definitely not a comfort pick. Buster. So take that first fight. Shows himself on the shoulder peak, so Dima's fully prepared. Always the risk you run. And Dima now has found an opportunity to just fall back. No one's there to trade. They're going to be quite suspicious that it's going to be a B hit, almost certainly. So we can see players, I think, maybe falling back at this moment from the CT side.
Which makes this a great time to actually throw out the long A play.
Kickert's got no grenades. He can commit to a short push and show his body, but he risks dying. Davkos jump spotted and didn't see anybody. Kickert's going to lock this in. You imagine the CTs won't be fully prepared for this.
Davkos has got positioning on the site. Good thing Dima softens up Fitch. That makes the single scout shot easy, and then it goes back and forth. Good team play. A couple of assists on the kill keeps James at bay. He's gone. Although Coldy, who's been crept inside of Connector this entire time, comes out of the Hobbit hole for one final frag. That's Team Spirit on the board. Nicely done. They get that opening kill, they retreat into the bomb sites, get the information thanks to the jump spot, and then combine forces entirely to walk away with the round.
Yeah, safe and sound. And yeah, I was surprised. Even though Kicker got this kill, you'd think, okay, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to take long. It seemed like a very unlucky jump spot that Dav cost. Right after he did that, they started to move up, but they still managed it. He hit his scout shots, was, as you mentioned, was important in tenderizing the meat before it came across the AUG. And now, AVANGAR, what did they decide to do? 4 players postured up towards B, it looked like, for a second, but now 2 more are coming up through the stairs and towards A. Bomb still left back in spawn, and Fitch is making his way up. Kind of a force buy situation here for AVANGAR, with a pretty dramatic lead. I'd definitely be worried if I was Spirit, but you've still got to play aggressive on CT side, so the option that they're imploring this round is to play outside the bathrooms. AVANGAR wait. Short control is enormous. Middle of the map control means you turn this 13-second rotation to a 7-second rotation. From having to go all the way down the spawn to just going down the stairs and opening the door. So that makes fakes a whole lot stronger. And Dima gets the opening kill one more time. 5v4 again for Team Spirit.
Ooh, good smoke spam. Krizen catches him right back with it. This opens up things, but Sophic looks to have a good angle here on Buster. This is when having wall hacks like us makes you realize Counter-Strike is a game of millimeters. Buster comes in. There's a player to watch his back. No, Davkos actually moved. So, I mean, AVANGAR just find the timing. The moment Spirit give up on their initial setup, you know, both teams making moves, they exchange frags once more from 4v4 to 3v3, 20 seconds up.
Bomb's actually going to B.
So they've got to pull some Die Young off of the B site, or it's just a straight up duel one for AVANGAR. Davkos is calling for help, and he's gone. He ejects Buster out of the bomb site. Fitch then rotates right back down, and Krizen's going to get this plant off.
Look at that. Because they had short control, they just go ahead, have Fitch rotate so quickly that it seemed like they were committed hard to A, but they were ready to take B instantly. Krizen and Fitch.
Damn. That's a bamboozler from AVANGAR. And this goes right back into the similar trend of what we saw in the first 15. Team Spirit struggling to win rounds consecutively. But this one's not over. Davkos, he gets taken down from the lip of heaven, and Krizen's not sure where Coldy's gotten off to. Time really the issue.
Oh my god.
He's not going to clear his corner either. 14 for AVANGAR, and a reset versus Spirit, which hurts even more on this CT side.
Krizen was glued to the heaven. He thought for sure the second player was going to come there. Coldy had him dead to rights. That could have been around for a Team Spirit to win. Even though AVANGAR pulled off the sick bamboozle. It seemed like they almost overplayed the fake just because Buster couldn't commit hard enough to get that kill, and then they were down numbers when they were up dramatically and could have actually hit the A site easily. But yeah, I mean, that's just where the chips fall, I suppose. AVANGAR get 14, 2 away from closing out the first map. Getting the map pick of Team Spirit. James takes a bit of damage from the op at peak today, but that's the only thing there for the time being. They're now falling back with what might be their last really good buy of the game.
Yeah, if they lose this one, then they're going to be strapped in an attempt to make the 9-round comeback happen. I mean, this has just been a clinical shutdown from AVANGAR, keeping Spirit's options and economy in a very limited state. However, at least they've got 3 defenders here on the B site, and there's a lot of AVANGAR's players ready to go.
How far back they are. They've taken Monster, they've thrown nades over, but they've only escorted Crizzen out. The rest of them have played back and are just waiting, I think, for counter grenades, maybe for him to work a frag. They don't have options open on the A site, though. They're just trying to create a lot of confusion, and the CTs haven't pushed.
Right, so the CTs will rotate downwards. AVANGAR just waiting for smokes to fade, trying to create an illusion of a potential walk back, a fall off, which is not what has happened at all. We get more utility sailing over. That's Heaven now smoked, so the rotator's possibly blind. Dima reveals himself, but there's no Molotov to get him out from here. So we're still waiting for AVANGAR to get their entries, and Crizzen starts it off. Sure enough, traded straight away. Dima, he needs help from his teammates now because he's just so pinned into the barrel. Tries to pull off the shot from over top, but nope, not gonna work. Again, we're down into the 20 seconds, playing to the nitty-gritty. And Team Spirit just looking to lock down the line. AVANGAR have irked their way slowly into the bomb site, enough so to get their plant, which is really all they need because now, well, the ball's in Spirit's court. Quick exchange from Coldy. James peeking out, missing a shot, and the bomb's tapped, so now he knows there's at least 2. He sees SDY just crab walking outwards. James with a second kill on this after plant, looking to win the round near single-handedly. They bled out Spirit. They crept into the bomb site. They made them feel awkward and scared, and then they robbed the round right away.
Yeah, that's frustrating to have to deal with when a bunch of players you know came out Monster, but you can't clear it safely. The smokes come out as well to deny them from being able to have a teammate in the backline spot over top, and that allowed Crizzen to just sit there and wait. And the patience paid off. I mean, it's nerve-wracking to have to sit on the site thinking, all right, did we let someone out or not? Are they going to execute B or are they not? They ended up at a minute 20, getting out onto B site, and then by 20 seconds still hadn't planted the bomb yet. They sat there the entire round. It's super unique, but they seem to have a game plan. They wanted to follow through all the way to the end of the round, and it ended up working well. So Spirit on the back foot, if that wasn't the case already. And they've only got 1 rifle this round. It's a FAMAS. Never a great place to be. Davkos goes out to kind of flagrantly seek information, whatever he can get, but doesn't see anything. AVANGAR, however, we're just tucked in, waiting to exec one more time on B.
I feel like that last round is a really good analogy for just this entire map so far from AVANGAR. They've been comfortable. You know, comfortable in an awkward spot all the time. Comfortable to wait those last few seconds. And it's Spirit who have looking shaky. SDY's got a gap to play with. Sees Kicker jump across, lots of SMGs, and the bomb is dropped in the process, so that's a good opening. AVANGAR attempt to retrieve it and do so with an additional kill. This definitely puts the pressure on the last 3 remaining Spirit players. Davkos tagged up from the heavens. His exit will not be made easy, and the utility is non-existent. It's all gone. Crizzen with another follow-up shot in the Galil, so even those closer players are being shut down. Team Spirit will lose map 1 without ever winning more than 2 rounds in a row. Just never finding footing, never having consistent gun rounds, never in control of the economy. This AVANGAR looks hot.
It's fair to say Spirit got crushed. AVANGAR have a super unique brand of Counter-Strike, and the way that they employed their strategies looked awesome. The first half was great. Could have even been a more dominant scoreline. So Spirit have a big job on their hands to be able to pull out these next 2 maps.
We'll see if they can reset quickly for Dust 2, folks. We'll see you for map 2.